it's Lone Wolf, your confident voice in the darkness. Hope you haven't lost your heads yet, cause today we're going for a bit of a ride. Now, if you haven't caught up in the popular trend of zombification, and there's some creepy crawly coming to gnaw your face off at every corner, then I'd go recommend you get a band of your buddies together before shit hits the fan. There is a universal problem that all survivors have in common. It's that they aren't initially prepared. Sticking with your most capable buddies is only one, but it's also one of the vital steps of starting off riding the saddle. So it's best to say to keep your buddies close the way you keep your sidearm close at all times. The people you pick are entirely up to you, but a word of advice. Don't pick any chum just because they're the one you would have a frisk cola with. Pick them because they can manage to handle themselves, and know how to raise some hell too. You don't want someone like Fat Mike slowing you down just because he needs a breather every block you take. No offense to any Fat Mikes out there. The ideal remedy is to stay within a group of 4. One guy to fire the lead, the second guy to save the first guy's skin, a third to save both their hides, and finally the fourth to watch all their asses, and vice versa. The absolute least the group must be is 2, cause there ain't no way in hell you would get out of this alone. And no, it doesn't matter if you have the wits, skills, firepower, or whatever of 10 men. You're gonna need help when you're falling flat on your ass and getting torn by the horde. Unless you wanna try your luck and wait it out. Many times before, I've risked it and abandoned the habit of not going alone. And again, in only extreme situations should you do this. Whether it be finding aid for a friend in need, food for your starving child, or even more terrifying, being cut off from the rest of your group. The last thing you want is to die a lonely death. That is, unless you consider the smoker that's choking you company. I would never again go over 8 heads unless I was forced into some unavoidable scenario, because there's just so many things that could go wrong when you add more than 5 people to the equation. First off, it's too damn crowded. Imagine trying to dodge an incoming charger or tank. Everyone's bumping into each other, trying to throw themselves out of the way, and in a few seconds the bunch of them are incapacitated. From there on, you can only assume the worst. Then there's the responsibility of being a safeguard. Too many mouths to feed, too many wounds to heal, too little pills to take. Remember to be under the assumption that you have a very limited range of supplies at your disposal. Scavenging out of sanctuary may as well be a death wish, as I said before. Not to mention, you have to carry all the supplies, which is not easy when you're running away from the undead masses. It's also a pain in the neck to constantly perform head counts. Picture this. You're in some kind of epic last stand holding down the fort until some rescue comes by. There's no time to count every head. No time to search around the house. No time going around everywhere screaming to get on the boat. It becomes more a burden than a responsibility. And having to look after 10 people every 5 minutes, making sure you aren't spotted, it takes a toll on you. Talking about taking tolls, pardon me for a sec. Even treated, it still tastes like this bad. Anyway, stupidity It strikes all of us once in a while, and it strikes some of us all the while. A human being doesn't always have the time to think, so he has to go by instinct in order to face the unprepared and unexpected. The problem here is, your group could get an easy ticket to their graves from a sudden win. It's kind of like dominoes in a way. Take one down, and the rest will follow in suit. Just a lot gorier. A lot more screaming too. Acting on impulse can bail you out a great deal of the time. There's no denying that. Though being solely dependent on it will cost you an appendage or two. Hell, maybe the endangerment of a peaceful settlement. The troubles of going in large packs were practically made apparent by the military of all things. See, the militaries of the world were struggling with these odds for the longest time, always ended up having to pull back or get eaten trying. Not many men today have ever seen the sight of an entire armored squad squabble towards an extraction point, getting nipped and mauled every inch of the way. It's a horrifying sight at first, granted, but as I look back at it now, it seems also amusing, since they couldn't even penetrate the armor. Well, most of the time. Really, there are many more reasons I don't go in packed groups, hence the name Lone Wolf. But these are the ones I've had most issues throughout the years. Nowadays it's just me and my good buddy Bill here. Maybe even the occasional wanderer or two. Whoa, well, would you look at the time? Time to start heading out. Until next time, folks, this is the echo and voice of the wasteland, signing out.